A single man brought the mighty Roman Empire to its knees. No army could stop him. No wall could hold him back. Emperors begged for mercy, offering gold and land just to make him leave. His name still strikes fear centuries later. This is the true story of Attila the Hun. Before we dive into one of history's most terrifying military campaigns, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the stories we cover here are the ones they don't teach in school. Now let's step back to the year 440 CE, when the world was about to meet its nightmare. The year is 440 CE. The Roman Empire, once the undisputed master of the known world, has split into two struggling halves, East and West. Both are shadows of their former glory, but they're still the most powerful civilization on Earth. Their armies control vast territories, their cities are architectural marvels, and their culture dominates Europe. But from the steppes of Central Asia, a threat is growing. The Huns, a confederation of nomadic warriors, have been pushing westward for decades. The Romans consider them barbarians, savages, less than human. They're about to learn a terrible lesson. In 434 CE, two brothers inherit control of the Hun Confederation, Attila and Bleda. The Hun Empire already stretches across vast territories in Central Asia and Eastern Europe, but these brothers have bigger ambitions. They immediately turn their attention to the Eastern Roman Empire, demanding tribute. The Romans, dealing with threats on multiple fronts, agree to pay £700 of gold annually. It's cheaper than war, they think. They're wrong. For the next decade, Attila proves himself a military genius. His cavalry moves faster than any army the Romans have ever faced. His warriors strike without warning, devastate their targets, and vanish before reinforcements arrive. The Hun fighting style is unlike anything Rome has encountered. No heavy infantry, no predictable formations, just endless waves of horse archers who can shoot accurately at full gallop. Then in 445 CE, Bleda dies. The circumstances are mysterious, but most historians believe Attila had his brother murdered. Overnight, Attila becomes the sole ruler of the largest empire in Europe, stretching from Central Asia to modern-day Germany. He consolidates power quickly, uniting dozens of nomadic tribes under his command. His warriors worship him, his enemies fear him, and he's just getting started. Attila is a master of psychological warfare. Long before his armies arrive, stories spread about what happens to cities that resist. Populations enslaved, buildings burned to the ground, survivors left with nothing. The fear is deliberate, calculated. Attila understands that a terrified enemy surrenders faster and costs fewer Hun lives. In 441 CE, Attila claims the Romans have violated their treaty. He demands more gold, more territory, more concessions. Emperor Theodosius II, ruler of the Eastern Roman Empire, refuses some of these demands. Attila's response is immediate and brutal. Total war. The first invasion targets the Balkans. City after city falls in rapid succession: Viminacium, Singidunum, Sirmium. Roman armies march to stop him and are crushed repeatedly. The problem is obvious. Roman tactics haven't changed in centuries. Their heavy infantry legions are designed to fight other infantry. Against Attila's mobile horse archers, they're helpless. The Romans can't catch the Huns in open battle, and when they do engage, they're torn apart by arrows before they can even reach their enemy. But Attila has another surprise. The Huns aren't just cavalry. They've learned siege warfare, possibly from Chinese engineers and defectors from conquered peoples. Attila employs sophisticated siege weapons, battering rams, siege towers, catapults. Cities with massive walls, Cities that consider themselves impregnable fall to Hun siege tactics. In 442 CE, Attila besieges Naissus, a major city in modern-day Serbia. The siege is devastating. When the city finally falls, Attila's forces show no mercy. The Roman historian Priscus visited Naissus years later and wrote that the banks of the river were still piled with bones, and the city still smelled of death. It's a message to every other city in the empire. Resistance is futile. As Attila pushes deeper into Roman territory, panic spreads. Refugees flood toward Constantinople, the capital of the Eastern Empire. The economy collapses as productive provinces burn. Emperor Theodosius II reinforces the massive Theodosian walls protecting Constantinople, but he knows his empire is bleeding to death. In 443 CE, the emperor has no choice. He sends envoys to negotiate. The resulting Treaty of Anatolius is one of the most humiliating agreements in Roman history. The tribute is tripled, 2,100 pounds of gold every single year. Rome must immediately pay 6,000 pounds for past debts. Territory south of the Danube River is surrendered. Roman prisoners of war are ransomed at outrageous prices. The mighty Roman Empire, the civilization that once conquered the known world, is now paying protection money to a barbarian warlord. But Attila isn't finished. 4 years later, in 447 CE, he invades again. This time, he claims the Romans still haven't fulfilled all their obligations. The truth is simpler. Attila wants more, and he knows the Romans are too weak to stop him. The 447 campaign is even more devastating than the first. Roman sources claim over 70 cities are destroyed. The entire Balkan region is systematically devastated. The Roman army makes one last attempt to stop Attila at the Battle of the Utus River. It ends in complete disaster. The Roman forces are annihilated. Nothing now stands between Attila and Constantinople itself. When Attila's army reaches the Theodosian walls, the citizens prepare for the end. These walls are the most formidable fortifications ever built. Triple-layered defenses, massive towers, deep moats. They're specifically designed to withstand any siege. Attila surveys the walls and makes a calculated decision. He doesn't attack. Instead, he sends another message to Emperor Theodosius. Pay even more tribute, or he'll stay outside Constantinople forever, burning everything around it. The Romans cave completely. They agree to continue paying 2,100 pounds of gold annually, plus another massive immediate payment. Attila withdraws, but everyone understands the new reality. The Eastern Roman Empire survives only because Attila allows it to. He can return whenever he wants. This is Attila's genius. He's not just a warrior. He's a strategist who understands economics and power. He realizes that Constantinople's walls are too strong for a direct assault. He could probably take the city eventually, but it would cost thousands of Hun lives. Why bother? Through fear and extortion, he extracts enormous wealth without losing a single warrior. The Eastern Roman Empire becomes a cash machine, funding his ambitions while slowly bleeding to death economically. By 450 CE, Attila controls the largest empire in Europe, and the Eastern Romans are completely subjugated. So he turns his attention westward to the Western Roman Empire. The excuse comes from an unexpected source: Honoria, sister of Western Emperor Valentinian III. According to sources, she sent Attila a ring, allegedly asking for his help to escape an arranged marriage. Attila claims this means they're engaged and demands half the Western Empire as her dowry. Whether the story is true or not doesn't matter. Attila wants the West, and now he has his excuse. In 451 CE, Attila invades Gaul, modern-day France, with an enormous army. Ancient sources claim 500,000 warriors, which is clearly exaggerated. Modern historians estimate 50,000 to 80,000 fighters, still massive by 5th century standards. Multiple Germanic tribes march with him, either as allies or conquered peoples forced to fight. The Western Romans, facing extinction, do something unprecedented. They ally with their former enemies, the Visigoths, to stop Attila. Roman general Flavius Aetius assembles a coalition army and meets Attila at the Catalonian plains in June 451 CE. The battle is apocalyptic. Tens of thousands die in a single day. Ancient sources describe rivers of blood and bodies piled so high they form hills. The fighting continues from morning until night. When darkness finally ends the slaughter, neither side has achieved a clear victory. It's a stalemate, the first time in his career that Attila hasn't won decisively. He withdraws from Gaul, but he's far from defeated. The next year, 452 CE, Attila invades Italy. Northern cities fall one after another. Aquileia is completely destroyed. Milan is sacked. Attila marches toward Rome itself. Emperor Valentinian III flees the capital in terror. The city that once ruled the world prepares for its end. Then something unexpected happens. Pope Leo I, the head of the Catholic Church, travels to meet Attila personally. What they discussed, no one knows for certain. According to Christian sources, the Pope's holiness and divine intervention convinced Attila to spare Rome. The reality was probably more practical. Disease had broken out in Attila's camp. His supply lines were stretched dangerously thin, and the Eastern Roman Empire was reportedly sending reinforcements. Attila likely received a substantial payment as well. Whatever the reasons, Attila agrees to withdraw. Rome is spared, but the message is clear. He chose to leave. He could have destroyed the Eternal City if he wanted. In 453 CE, at the height of his power, Attila marries again. He had numerous wives already, but this new bride, a young woman named Ildiko, would be his last. After the wedding feast, where Attila reportedly drank heavily, he retires to his chambers. The next morning, his attendants find him dead. The official cause is a burst blood vessel or severe nosebleed while drunk, causing him to choke on his own blood. Some historians suspect assassination, possibly by Ildiko herself, though there's no concrete evidence. Attila's death changes everything instantly. His sons fight over succession. The vast confederation of tribes he held together through personality and fear begins to fragment. Within decades, the Hun Empire collapses completely, disappearing from history almost as quickly as it appeared. But the damage to Rome is permanent. The Western Roman Empire never recovers from Attila's invasions. The economic devastation, the destroyed cities, the constant tribute payments. It's too much. In 476 CE, just 23 years after Attila's death, the Western Roman Empire falls completely. Many historians argue that Attila's campaigns were a major contributing factor to Rome's collapse. Attila's legacy is complicated. The Romans called him flagellum Dei, the scourge of God, a divine punishment for their sins. Medieval European chronicles portrayed him as evil incarnate, a demon in human form. But Hungarian and Turkish traditions remember him as a great king and hero. The truth lies somewhere in between. Attila was a brilliant military commander who understood that warfare is about more than battles. It's about psychology, economics, and power. He used fear as effectively as his armies. He knew when to fight and when to extract tribute. He turned the world's greatest empire into his personal treasury. Attila changed warfare forever. He proved that mobile cavalry could defeat traditional infantry legions. He showed that psychological warfare could be as devastating as actual combat. He demonstrated that even mighty Rome could be brought to its knees by someone who understood power better than they did. His tactics would be studied by military commanders for centuries. In the end, Attila's story is a reminder of how quickly power can shift. The Roman Empire had existed for centuries, seemed invincible, eternal. Then one man with a fast-moving army and a brilliant strategic mind brought it to the edge of destruction. Not through a single climactic battle, but through a campaign of terror, extortion, and relentless pressure. He made emperors beg. He made the masters of the known world pay tribute like vassals. And he died peacefully in his bed, undefeated, at the absolute height of his power. Attila the Hun, the man who made Rome kneel. Attila's story reminds us that history is full of figures who changed everything, and we're just getting started. If you want more incredible true stories like this one, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Drop a comment below, telling me which historical figure you want to hear about next. Was Attila a villain, or just a product of his brutal time? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.